Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans. Welcome to my channel. It's time to listen to another voicemail. Today's voicemail is from an ex-Jehovah's Witness called Daniel. Let's hear what Daniel has to say.
Hello, Lloyd. My name is Daniel, and I've been a huge fan of your work. Even though I was pretty much woken up at the time I discovered you, you helped me shake a lot of cobwebs out and basically gave me that final nudge and push I needed to get out. And I'm very grateful to you for all your work and your tireless activism. And I can imagine it must be draining at times, but I think a lot of people reap benefits of what you do. That being said, and I don't mean this in a combative way at all, but I do feel I guess a philosophical conflict where I understand the point or the frame of mind to say, you know, if I'm leaving the truth and I have all these family members and friends that are there that are now going to shun me, which is not my case. I'm just simply making this argument, that I have to leave the door open for them. In other words, they get to do what they want to do, consequence free. And should the day ever come where they decide that they want to speak to me for whatever reason, whether that means they leave the organization or they still are in it, but they want to look the other way. My problem with that is they basically have no consequence. They get to live the life they want to live on their terms, and you're obligated to endure shunning and gossip talk, and you have to always be the bigger person. And I'm wondering why more people in our situation, and I'm including you in this, and again, this is not combative, it's just a curiosity, why we don't take the stance that they do and say, I'm not going to speak to you, not because I'm against it, but because this is what you would do to me. And I want you to know how much it hurts and how it feels. And I want you to feel that pain. Basically giving them a dose of their own medicine. Again, it's more just of a curiosity and an interest in what you think of that. Again, nothing but the utmost respect for what you do, and very curious to hear your take on that. And please feel free to use on the video if you like. Thank you, Lloyd. All the best.
Well, thank you very much, Daniel, for your message. Thank you for the kind words as well about my work. Wow, okay. Well, bottom line, everyone has to deal with shunning the best way that they can. I don't think anyone has the right to say, this is the way you ought to do it. You should extend olive branch after olive branch after olive branch to people who are treating you as though you don't exist. I don't think that's actually what I've said. My own position, and again, there are any number of ways that you could go about dealing with shunning, I suppose. But in my own case, I think for the benefit of my own mental health, I don't go kind of checking in on those who I know are shunning me and putting them in a position where they need to reply to something to a message I've sent them, or they need to acknowledge me in some way, because I know I'm just going to get rejection after rejection after rejection when I have reasonable basis to assume that someone that I knew or who knew me as a Jehovah's Witness is shunning me, I'm not going to go chasing after them to confirm whether they're shunning me. I'm going to take it as given that they're shunning me. But I do hold the door open for anyone who knew me as a Jehovah's Witness, especially family members, if they want to not shun me, regardless of whether they want to hold on to their beliefs as a Jehovah's Witness or not. And you seem to take a different view, which is fine. You know, we're not in a cult anymore where everyone has to see things the same way and have the same approach to things. All I would say is this. I think that there's a danger when we get out from a cult like Jehovah's Witnesses that we have so much disbelief that we could have been duped by the cult and that we could have been this person who was so hateful and intolerant and ignorant, that we develop a contempt for members of the group that completely ignores the fact that we were once members. In other words, we could almost kind of fall into denialism over the fact that we were once members by being so extreme in kind of distancing ourselves and disavowing ourselves from the group. And in the case of what you're suggesting, my problem would be this. What if people who are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses in your life, who you've perhaps reconnected with, what if they had taken that position with you? So I don't know whether you have reconnected with people who you were perhaps shunning when you were one of Jehovah's Witnesses. It's actually one of the sweetest things that you can experience once you're on the outside, is reconnecting with people who are part of your past, and you're all free together and you're able to kind of debrief each other on the other side, having had this shared experience where you all knew each other as believers. It happens actually quite rarely, in my own case at least. There aren't that many people in my life now who knew me when I was a Jehovah's Witness. And whenever I get the opportunity to reconnect with someone who knew me as a Jehovah's Witness, I really enjoy it. But what if you took this position of saying, well, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses should shun believing Jehovah's Witnesses forever, so that when they wake up, they should still be punished for shunning? Well, you're never going to get the opportunity to reconnect, are you? You're not going to have any opportunity to reforge those bonds with people who knew you, who you were perhaps shunning as a Jehovah's Witness. It would just be a given that your shunning of them is this unforgivable sin that you should forever pay a price for, and they're never going to welcome you back on the other side once you're all free from your indoctrination. That's what I mean when I say keeping the door open, because I don't think that shunning comes from those people. I don't think it's innate to them. I think it's programmed behavior, or as I've put it in other videos, their minds are not their own. Having been in that situation myself, I have empathy. I know what it was like to believe that shunning someone is the right thing to do, and to have my decision-making stripped from me as a cult follower. And it's because I'm acutely aware of what that is like and can remember what it's like that I make this offer to anyone who's currently shunning me. Well, when you're ready to start thinking for yourself, or when you're just ready to resume the relationship but perhaps keep on believing some of these things, I'm going to be here for you, and I'm ready to be here for you. That's not to say that you automatically ought to have friendships with people just because they were once Jehovah's Witnesses. I've never said that. I think that one of the beautiful things of making it onto the other side is no longer being bound by this idea that friendship is compulsory and that you have to make friends with people who have this shared background. Not true at all. You don't automatically have to be friends with people who were once shunning you or who were once Jehovah's Witnesses. But I do think it's a bit extreme to suggest that if they shun you once, then this is an unforgivable sin that you should perpetually or forever shun them for. Because again, they're not in control, are they? And if everyone had that attitude towards you, you would be very limited in what relationships you could make after leaving and reaching out to people who you knew within the religion. So those are just a few thoughts that I have on what you have to say. The beauty of being on the other side is that there is no rule book. We can figure these things out for ourselves, but I suppose, yes, my issue would be essentially the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do to you. Is it fair to shun people forever for something that they can't really help, when in fact you're benefiting in many cases from people's ability to move past all that? So yes, I hope my answer there has been in some way useful. Don't forget that if you would like to send a voicemail, the thing to do is go to speakpipe.com/Cedars, remembering to state clearly if you don't want me to broadcast your message. And I might just say, I do obviously receive a lot of voicemails. I can't use all of them in these videos. I did have a very brief list, just in case you're watching every single voicemail episode and perhaps you've left a voicemail and you're wondering why I've not answered it. It could be for any one of these reasons. Number one, I've just not got round to hearing it yet because I'm trying to listen to them as they come in. Number two, it could be that your question is so simple that my answer is simply, yes, I agree, in which case there isn't much that I can make a video about that's particularly interesting. Number three, if you have obviously said, I don't want this voicemail to be broadcast, I'm going to respect that, so it's not going to end up on the channel. Number four, I do get some messages through sometimes where it's an incomplete message for some reason. So sometimes the audio stops halfway through the message and I can't hear the rest. That has happened a few times. Or just generally poor audio. I don't tend to use those messages. And finally, if I've already answered the question that you're asking me in a previous voicemail, I tend not to play it again, simply because I don't like repeating myself too much on these videos. So just a bit of guidance there for those of you who've already left a voicemail and are perhaps wondering why I haven't answered it. But that's all I have for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the Lloyd Evans channel for more such videos. And as always, thank you for watching.